If they see one is successful, they merely buy it up out of the Treasury with so-called your tax money, which will never be paid by your great-great-great-grandchildren. And so they'll own the majority of the mom-and-pop tax businesses of the businesses of America. Now, what do they have to gain by doing what this individual told me back in June they were going to do? They have everything to gain by. They will own the majority of everything in the United States of America. And what did they get the airlines and the railroads and the real estate and the banks for? They got it for nothing but a computer entry, and it is all to their advantage to do everything they're doing. Alex, on a 1-hour program, I can't even skim the surface. I mean, barely touch it. I don't know how to say this except to say, folks, I am so startled that all of this is taking place identically the way this individual told me. I have just finished preparing this week. This is the first week that both of them will go out. 2 new, what I call emergency updates. One is an hour and 30 minutes long. The other is 30 minutes long. I plead with you, let me give you all of the background. Let me try to explain to you the Baltic Dry Index and how it's plunged at 93%. Do you even know what the Baltic Dry Index is? Did you happen to read the Dow Jones Newswires as what's happening to Saudi Arabia? Do you have the slightest idea as to how much taxes there is on a gallon of gasoline? I mean, do you want the intricate, in details of everything that they're doing, what they're going to do?
No, it's amazing information. It's amazing information. Give folks the number to call and get it.
The number is 800-321-2900. Emergency update. 2 new presentations just prepared this week, going out for the first time if you want to get them. 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 30-minute hour long. 800-321-2900. Ask them and they'll give you all the details.
Okay, I want to go to some calls. We'll plug that again before you leave. If anybody missed it, we'll keep you 5 minutes in the next hour if you can do it before Dr. Joram Corsi joins us. Specifically here, during this crisis, during an implosion of society, when people are having to survive, they're not going to get too upset, at least on the surface, if they take over the old internet, convert it to Internet 2, and shut down most of the sites. They're not going to mind if a new war gets started. They're not going to mind as much if there's troops on the streets because there's rioting. Again, what has Rahm Emanuel been saying? We can't let this crisis go to waste. The White House Chief of Staff, we have their own documents. They are engineering this. Obama's just a puppet. All these poor people that thought he was the answer to George Bush, not knowing that it's a tag team, not knowing these are just front men. What are they going to do as they learn that all that's being given to them is doom?
Well, first of all, Alex, I lived with these people for 3 years. And there's one thing that I found out that they are scared to death of. And they must do something quick because so many Americans are waking up. There's only one thing I found that bothered them, and that is the masses of Americans waking up. And it's because of shows like the Alex Jones Show that they are waking up in mass. They must stop that before it goes any further than what it is right now. So whatever they have to do to accelerate their program, and this is the reason I produced these 2 emergency updates along with my Energy and Non-Crisis DVD and so on. I have 2 DVDs and 2 CDs now. And the reason for this is because I feel that they have accelerated their program so rapidly because of so many Americans waking up through programs like yours, the Internet, and other things. They must do something right now.
No, I agree. They want to shut down the viral networking we're doing where we're connecting and exponentially growing. I think they're going to claim some terror attack on the web or something very, very soon, that their newspapers are imploding, their whole fraudulent system is being exposed. I agree. That's why I say people have hard copies of my films, have hard copies of Lindsay Williams' presentations, because we may have to go back. What brought down the Russians was fax machines. The interfax. Literally old-fashioned printing presses, photocopiers to get information out. We have to go low-tech and high-tech. Is that what you're saying, Lindsay?
Yes, we do. And we have to do exactly what you're doing, Alex. And you're right. You need hard copy in your hand. For instance, the other day, my son, he said, Daddy, let's go to YouTube and see what your DVDs are doing up there. You know, I check on them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars from time to time. I couldn't believe it. This has never happened before. As of last week, and I say this very modestly and to the glory of God, because Lindsay Williams, I put on my britches just like you do every morning, Alex. Lindsay Williams, just ordinary, everyday guy that by the providence of God met these people. And on YouTube, they've got under my latest DVD, Extreme. That means that there's so many hits on that DVD that they can't even handle them all. Now, that's because the American people are waking up because of programs like yours, Alex, and it is scaring the elite to death.
Absolutely, Lindsay. You're absolutely on target. I don't think they're going to get away with it. You know, they've set up this global system. They need a global crisis to bring in their, quote, global solution. But everybody's learning that it was the very same people saying they're our saviors that engineered all of this. So, and they're having the National Security Council take over the whole government and the federal agencies and admitting that Congress will have no authority over government. I mean, what if the military says no to all of this? What if they don't go along with this tyranny?
Well, they aren't going along too well. If you hear on my latest DVD of what's saying about what happened at Walmart the day after the election, and if you realize what's happened in the gun schools around North America, they've literally wiped them clean. I mean, when you look at the hardcore facts of everything that's taking place in America, Americans are waking up. And thank the Lord they are.
Amen. Stay there. We'll come back and take calls for Lindsay Williams. Stay with us. Walter in Mass, you are on the air. Welcome.
How's it going?
Well, we're watching the New World Order in its total global takeover with using economic warfare and then backing it up with military force through Northcom.
Yeah, I understand fully. It was because of friends like GirlOnTop.com, Karen DiBiase told me. I understood right off the bat, totally. And I got on my horse, and I ran and rode that horse and told everybody, emails, faxes, by word of mouth, you name it, I did it.
Well, good. What's going on? Do you have a question for our guest?
Sure. Since you're talking about money, how's the governor of Massachusetts getting away with trying to steal tax money from New Hampshire? That's against the Constitution.
Oh, my gracious, we're going to see some things with this tax shortfall of 3/4 from the gas pump. Governors and heads of state and even in the federal government are going to become so desperate in the next 30 days. Now watch this. This is a prediction based on what this individual told me that I wrote the story on Alex Show back on July the 28th. You are going to see tax shortfalls that are so great until the federal and state within the next 30 days when their ledgers show it are going to become desperate.
Well, like Alex Jones said, there's no deficits. I seen the financial report video. There was, 10 to 20...
But see, that money was taken offshore. Then they ran the derivative scam to claim it was all destroyed, but they kept it. While it still had value, they fenced it into real infrastructure and commodities. Thank you, Walter. Kyle in Mass, another caller from Mass. Go ahead, Kyle.
This is Kyle from Oregon, sorry.
Okay, well, it says Mass on my screen. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for all your information about Gardasil. I've been trying to tell my girlfriend about it forever, but she's on her last shot, and it's just really scary hearing all this new stuff come out. But
well, you can show her CBS News showing it's killing people.
I'm going to, but she's pretty compartmentalized. She works for SIGA, who makes ST-246, the smallpox vaccine. So she's pretty into the eugenics, but she doesn't really know it yet, you know. But anyways, I wanted to talk about, to your guest, Lindsay Williams, thanks for all the great information. You've been so consistent forever. Where do you see the college bubble going? Because I heard Gerald Celente talk about this once a couple weeks ago, and no one else has really touched it, but the college bubble.
You're speaking of college, the number of students in college.
People
right?
not being able to pay for their college, people not being able to get jobs when they get out of college.
When they take out $50,000 loans. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll see colleges shutting down semesters very soon. When this tax shortfall comes to the states, it's going to so devastate everything in the states within the next 30 to 60 days until I'm really concerned about colleges in the future because they depend on taxes almost altogether except for what the students pay.
Yeah, this is the postmodern world. This is what the UN, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve has said they want. Get everybody in debt, then destroy the entire global economy by restricting new currency. Same thing they did on a smaller scale back during the Great Depression. So we're going to come back in the final 5 minutes with Lindsay Williams and take some more phone calls from George, Mike, and others. Stay with us. We'll be back in 70 seconds to start the third hour. Final segment with Lindsay Williams. As he said, there's a lot we won't have time to cover in an hour, so I want to invite him back up for a full hour next week if he can do it. Get your pens and paper ready right before he leaves you. I'm going to give out a number so you can get these DVD reports he's putting out with the latest information in more detail. George in Toronto, you're on the air with Lindsay Williams.
Thanks for taking my call, Alex. In the context of what Lindsay's saying about the implosion of the U.S. economy, and I guess the dollar as well, would the government ever consider repudiating the national debt?